It was 1862, the dawn of a new era in American history, and the beginning of one extraordinary journey. Bob's great-grandparents, David and Margaret Maloney, embarked on a perilous journey across the Atlantic during the potato famine of Ireland, oblivious to the profound impact their new life in America would have on California's history. They settled near Angel's Camp, establishing the iconic Hawkeye stage stop along Highway 49, complete with 11 bedrooms, a dance hall, and many barns. The Melones transformed the way station into a thriving community and a haven for Iowans seeking their fortune during California's gold rush. David not only tended diligently to the needs of the restless travelers, but he also expanded the estate to 320 acres, where he raised his 5 children. Across the world, another chapter was unfolding as Bill Dunavan, a surveyor from New Zealand, arrived in California. Fate led him to the Hawkeye station, where he met and fell in love with Kate Maloney, one of David and Margaret's daughters. In 1896, the young couple exchanged vows at a Catholic church in Stockton, marking the beginning of a new chapter for the Hawkeye Ranch. After the passing of David Maloney, the couple returned to Calaveras County from Fresno, where their only child, Bessie, was born. Bob's mother spent her childhood on the expansive Dunavan Ranch, roaming the hills on horseback, forging memories she would cherish for the rest of her life. As a young girl, she enjoyed frequent excursions to San Francisco with her mother and would often go shopping and see plays. In those days, A Midsummer Night's Dream and The Kiss Waltz were among the most popular plays of the decade. Back at the homestead, her father Bill supplied an ample amount of hay in a nearby shed to accommodate her daily horseback rides to Altaville Grammar School. Each morning, Bessie would ride into school carrying her lunch in a lard bucket, looking forward to the lessons the old schoolhouse had in store. During the winter, Bill would take her to school in a horse and carriage. Her mother, Kate, had an abiding love for her church in Angel's Camp and participated in the annual festival the Catholic Church held each year. She was known to be a very friendly person and was a beloved figure in the community. During high school, Bessie continued to travel on horseback, but the advent of modern technology introduced students to a different mode of transportation, rendering the horse and buggy relics of the past. The motherlode held many opportunities for the young heir to the Dunavan fortune, but fate would lead her to Aurola, and a new chapter in Calaveras history would be written. In the heart of Genoa, Italy, a different story was unfolding. Bob Airola's great-grandfather, Manuel Aurola, following in the footsteps of Christopher Columbus, left his beloved country behind in pursuit of the elusive promise America had to offer. Drawn by the allure of wealth and opportunity, he settled in Calaveras County and fell in love with Caroline Figueroa Riddell. They exchanged vows in 1862, commencing a legacy that would shape the Aurola family for generations to come. Emmanuel and Caroline were blessed with 3 sons, John, Gus, and Antone. The Aurola family embraced the rustic charm of the gold country, establishing homesteads in and around Angels Camp and Carson Hill. Each summer, they took their cattle to the mountains, embodying the spirit of the Old West. A decade later, Emmanuel passed, but his descendants took the reins and continued to pursue the American dream. Bob's grandmother, Emma Louise Yoakum, was a descendant of pioneers who journeyed through the plains of the historic Oregon Trail. She met and married John Aurola and began ranching in Frogtown following their union in 1890. Their son Virgil, a distinguished lawyer, district attorney, and superior court judge in Calaveras County, was born in a humble cabin situated on this land. The family eventually sold their acreage to the Angels Camp Racetrack Association and relocated east. It was on this property where Tone Aurola, Bob's father, was born. Tone grew up working alongside his father John, tending to the cattle on the expansive ranch off of Red Hill Road.
Oh yeah, I've been driving cattle to the mountains ever since I was a little kid. I was big enough to ride a horse. Used to help round up the cattle and drive to the mountains. But the first trip I ever made was on a wagon with a Aurola mine, just to haul hay up for the horses up there during the summer and in the fall of the year when they had to have hay. And that was the first. And I thought it was really wonderful to ride up the road. Oh, I was only about 8 years old then.
In 1916, fate wove another thread into the Aurola family legacy when Tone met Bessie Dunavan at a dance at the Old Woods Hall in Angels Camp. The young descendant of the Hawkeye legacy was enamored by the handsome young cattle rancher. Their encounter set the stage for a romance that would endure the test of time. By the following September, Bessie earned her teaching credentials and commenced her career at Washington Flat School. Shortly after, Tone acquired his first vehicle, a classic Hupmobile, preparing the young couple for the next season of life. On August 23, 1921, Bessie and Tone exchanged vows at a Catholic church in Angels Camp, sealing their love and commitments. Tone had recently purchased Dr. Turner's house on South Main Street in anticipation of their life together. Their honeymoon in Los Angeles became an unforgettable journey filled with scenic cable car rides and visits to Long Beach. By 1927, the Aurolas saw the rise of a new profession within their ranks. Virgil, Tone's brother, became the district attorney of Calaveras County and established a law office in San Andreas, marking the beginning of a legal dynasty. Bess and Tone, in the meantime, settled into the quaint little house on South Main Street, serving as a notable backdrop in Bob Airola's childhood and the perfect beginning to one extraordinary story. In the scorching summer of 1936, as the sun set beneath the rolling hills of Angels Camp, Bess and Tone welcomed a new addition to their family, a baby boy. As with generations before him, Bob Airola's call to ranching took root at a young age. Under the watchful eye of his father Tone, he learned the timeless art of tending to cattle. The ranch, nestled in the heart of California's gold country, bore witness to the formative years of a young boy who was destined to carry forward the legacy established by his ancestors, a lineage of old-time cattle ranchers.
Yeah, I was a cowboy, a fella raising cattle. My mother worked as a school teacher, and my dad was we raised cattle, a rancher.
From the moment Bob was old enough to ride a horse, he was captivated by the intricate aspects of country living. While Angels Grammar School provided him with a formal education, it was the lessons learned on those vast green pastures that made a profound impact on his life.
The ranch, the home ranch, was really off of Red Hill Road. That's when my grandpa and grandma moved from the fairgrounds up over the hill, and that was a home ranch on Red Hill Road.
As for the Dunavan Ranch, the historic landmark remained in the family. However, the beloved Hawkeye estate was tragically destroyed in a fire in the 1930s. Although Bess and Tone resided at their home on South Main Street for 35 years, it was the rustic stage stop that Bess always regarded as her real home. Tone, feeling his wife's immense loss, rebuilt the home in 1956.
I still own the ranch that my mother had, known as the Dunavan Ranch. Goes back to the grandparents.
Despite the charm of Bob's heritage, life in the motherlode presented numerous challenges.
Back then, when I was old enough to know what was going on, we started the World War II, and my job was to flatten out the tin cans and send them back and use them for metal for the armed forces. And as I got older, I helped on the ranch more. And when I helped on the ranch, I did everything from irrigation to driving cattle to the mountains and putting bells on the cows before we went. And we started at Copperopolis, came over the wagon trail road and crossed Angels Creek, and that was the beginning of that ranch. From there we went to the Red Hill Ranch and hit the highway up on Borby Road and up 6 Mile Road and through Murphy's and real early in the morning and stayed on Highway 4 till we got to Moran Road. And from Moran Road, we took off and went to the South Grove, which was owned by Pickering Lumber Company. And that was where we turned the cattle loose and put up the fence around the meadow at the Grove cabin area. And from there, it was just irrigation, fixing fences, the routine type thing. Then when it was time to gather them, we let them come into the meadow area and drove them down the highway. And that highway was narrow at that time. And from there we turned the cattle, took the bells off and let the cattle graze at the ranches down there in Copperopolis.
Life on the ranch involved more than just herding cattle. Bob actively participated in various range improvement projects and was elected president of the 4-H Club Council by 1961. Meanwhile, Tone continued to acquire additional acreage along the Stanislaus River and across the Sierra foothills.
We had access to 2,000 acres at that time. Part of it was through the Oakdale Irrigation District, and the rest my dad put together was the Riddell Ranch, the Wooster Ranch, Miller Ranch. My dad bought those ranches. That was our big main ranch, was down at what we call the Lower Ranch.
As time changed, so did life in the Aurola household. Bob's older brother Lowell earned his degree in law and became a workers' compensation attorney, dedicating his career to helping injured workers. His sister Beverly pursued a career in physical education and taught at Oakdale High. As for Bill and Bob, well, their calling was right here, in the heart of Calaveras County. Bill became the president and director of the Calaveras Cattlemen's Association, and Bob went on to attend Modesto College and Cal Poly, but swiftly returned home to take up his father's trade. The cattle became a significant part of the family's identity, and Bob took immense pride in raising them. They were more than mere livestock. They represented a way of life.
You were your own boss, and you had to make sure that when you did a job and get it done, you had to battle the weather and with the heat and the cold.
The 1960s marked a pivotal decade for the Aurola family. Bob was nominated as president of the Calaveras County Farm Bureau, an honor that spoke volumes of his integrity, work ethic, and unwavering dedication to the ranching community. Meanwhile, on the legal front, another member of the Aurola family was making headlines. Bob's cousin Orrin, following in the footsteps of his father Virgil, stepped into the role of District Attorney of Calaveras County. The family's influence and leadership during these years left an indelible mark on the fabric of their hometown. Amidst the whirlwind of professional achievements, he welcomed his firstborn daughter Nancy into the world, followed by the arrival of their second daughter Susan. But the Aurola household would not be complete without the arrival of one more member, Todd, bringing the family immeasurable joy and happiness. As Tone continued to purchase more acreage, the Army Corps of Engineers took interest and sought to obtain a share in his most treasured possession, the home ranch, to make way for the new Melones Dam.
And he kept putting pieces together to where we had almost 2,000 acres on that ranch. in the end, we owned natural bridges. And that was when the Corps of Engineers wanted to take part of that.
Despite their appealing offer, Tone couldn't bear the thought of surrendering his beloved acreage along the Stanislaus River to the government.
My brother, who had polio, talked over with my dad, and they decided if you want to buy any, you take it all or none. So they came up and they bought it all.
In the end, Tone reached a settlement and utilized the proceeds from the sale to reinvest in more land.
The government came in and bought the ranch from my dad, and in the process, we bought a ranch. Him and I went down and looked at the place, and we bought that. And acreage there, I think it was about it was over 300 acres, I guess, round about 300 acres. And my brother and my sister ran that ranch.
As the years went by, Bob continued ranching, raising his kids, and being an active member in the Calaveras County Farm Bureau. Although his days on the ranch are behind him, Bob's spirit remains as strong as ever, and his love for the land and his family remains steadfast. Today, he resides at Foothill Village, where he shares these extraordinary stories with us, offering a rare glimpse into Calaveras County's rich history. The home ranch sits right over the hill from Foothill Village, serving as a daily reminder of the profound impact Bob's dedication to the land has made on the community. As we reflect on his legacy, we are thankful for the notable contributions the Aurolas have made, for without them, the fabric of the gold country would not be the same.